You're listening to Straight from the Hat with Ben Vaughn.
Every day starts with a broken heart. I must be too sensitive for this world. Well, I know it ain't right to cry every night. I must be too sensitive for this world.
He's had a career filled with twists and turns as a performer, songwriter, composer for film and TV, and record producer. For Ben Vaughn, the best part of the journey has been the colorful characters he's encountered along the way. His friend Laura Pocatello, who works for Sun Records in Nashville, wrote the names of those characters down and placed them in a hat. Each episode she'll select names at random and let Ben relive the stories. No pre-planning, no filter, just telling it like it was, straight from the hat.
Hello, Ben.
Hello, Laura. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm out here in parts unknown, and I am thrilled because it looks like we actually have an audience for this podcast.
They're listening right now, actually.
Yeah, I've been hearing from people, and if you're a fan of this podcast, tell one friend, because word of mouth is how this thing works, which is old school, and I guess you could call it analog, right? Somebody saying something to another person.
I think that counts as analog, absolutely. Yeah, just one friend, just someone that you think would really enjoy the podcast. It would mean a lot if you pass it along to them.
Yeah, please do. Okay, to the hat we go. What do we have?
To the hat. Let's see who's in the hat today. All right, pulling out a name. Okay, I have no idea where you're going to go with this one, but Winona Ryder?
Winona Ryder was at Timothy Leary's funeral.
Naturally.
Which is how I ran into her. I had a recording studio in Santa Monica and an airplane hangar that had a huge room where they did these special events. They would do, they would film award shows there. Touring bands would rehearse there, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm in my studio working on a demo with Dan Marcus, a songwriter friend of mine. It's a Saturday morning or Sunday morning, I'm not sure what, and all of a sudden there's all this activity, like a lot of private planes coming in and cars showing up. And the owner of the hangar came into my studio and said, hey, I don't know if you're interested in this, but it's Timothy Leary's memorial. Do you want to come in? And we were like, yeah. So she brought us in, and we're, you know, the place is packed, folding chairs, you know, the whole thing. She brings us in and she takes us right up front. And we're sitting up front, and there's Baba Ram Dass and Winona Ryder at Timothy Leary's funeral. So that was, and, you know, only an hour before that, I did not know that that was going to be part of my life.
Part of your day, yeah. And also, I love that it was offered as, like, would you want to go to this? Like, who would say no to that? Yeah,
just, you know, maybe it just might appeal to you, you know. But Winona's parents were really good friends with Leary, I think, is how it all came together. Not sure. Or she was related, maybe? I'm not sure. But I was in the same building with Winona Ryder and Baba Ram Dass at Timothy Leary's funeral.
Same day.
Yeah. And that recording studio, though, that I had in the hangar, in the airport hangar, was really interesting because Ry Cooder had a space right next door to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was walking by once. Somebody gave him a copy of Rambler 65, an album that I recorded entirely in my car. And Ry Cooder is a car fanatic.
Like of a specific type? Is he a Rambler guy, or what's his type of cars?
Just vintage cars. And if you look at his album covers and things, there's usually a vintage car or something. And he owned several. I think it was his mechanic. Yeah, actually it was. We shared a mechanic originally. And that guy gave him a copy of Rambler 65 and said that I should come over and say hi. So I did. I went over and I knocked on the door, and there's Ry Cooder, you know, and we're hanging out talking. And he was scoring a film called Primary Colors at that point. Yeah. A Mike Nichols film. And I was like, oh, wow, you're working with Mike Nichols. That's pretty cool. And he goes, yeah, and he's going to be here any minute. once he gets here, we're going to have to get to work, but I'll introduce you. And all of a sudden I hear, it's an airport, right? I hear this prop plane, and it lands on the runway. We're looking out the door, and it lands out the runway, and the door opens of the plane, and this guy gets out with a scarf and a helmet and starts walking towards us, and it's Mike Nichols. He takes the helmet off, and it's Mike Nichols.
So flew in?
Yeah, so I meet Mike Nichols, on the tarmac.
Did you ask him what the scarf is for? Because what's the deal with pilots wearing a scarf? Do we know?
I have no idea, because it seems like it could get caught in the propellers, right? It's like a bad thing.
It seems risky, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like a wearable windsock or something, though?
I don't know, but...
you should have asked Mike Nichols.
Yeah, you're right. But what's one more regret, really? I mean, really. But I had another encounter, a word that would describe what I'm about to describe. Stevie Nicks in that hangar.
Oh.
There was a friend of mine in Memphis, Jim Spake, a great saxophone player, played with Alex Chilton, but a bunch of other stuff, like Stax kind of stuff.
Memphis stuff.
Memphis, a very sought-after sax player in Memphis. He calls me up and goes, "Hey, man, I'm in L.A., and I'm doing these rehearsals for some kind of benefit, and I think I might be near you. I'm in Santa Monica." And I go, "Where are you?" And he goes, "I'm at this place called the Barker Hangar." And I'm like, I'm here right now.
I'm next door.
We were like 500 feet away from each other. So I go get him, and we hang out. And it was some kind of benefit. I forget who, and it was but Danny Korchmore, the guy Cooch, guitar player who, was part of that group that backed up James Taylor and Carole King and all those people. He was the band leader, and they're in rehearsal. And the idea was one-hit wonder songs were going to be performed by these people. And Stevie Nicks comes walking in. She's got two little dogs, that she's carrying. And she has an assistant with her. And she comes walking in. And when it was time for her to get up there, she hands the dogs to the assistant. And then she goes up and she sings that song. Do you remember that song, Black Velvet? Black velvet in a little boy's eyes. I think it was Alana Miles might have been the person who had it. And I think there was
I don't think I know that song.
It was a big hit in the 80s, and it was also a country hit, too. Somebody cut it and had a country hit with it, too. A really cool song, allegedly about Elvis Presley. And it was a one-hit wonder in the pop world by Alana Miles. I think that's her name. And Stevie Nicks gets up there, and it's one of those things where she's very unassuming, petite. She just gets up there and grabs the mic, and then she starts singing, and you're like, whoa.
That's Stevie Nicks, yeah. How
does that sound come out of her? Wow. And it's unlike any other singer, right? I mean, Stevie Nicks has
unbelievable,
a completely unique voice. And then Bill Murray walks in, and he gets up there and does Brandy. Brandy, you're a fine girl. Hamming it up and everything, and... so that airplane hangar, talk about a night of 1,000 stars.
That sounds like a happening place, for real. I mean, especially for an airplane hangar.
Yeah, and Timothy Leary, his memorial as well.
Rest in peace.
Go figure.
Okay, back to the hat. Let's see what's in here. See who comes out next. Okay, this one isn't a name. We have a few in here that aren't names, that are TV shows or concepts. This one might be a concept, but it was also an album. And it's an album of yours. You ready for this one?
I think so.
Tell me about Rambler 65.
Oh, okay. Rambler 65.
Here we go.
What you should have pulled out of there was midlife crisis, because that was my midlife crisis.
That's still in the hat. That's still in the hat.
Oh, hold it. Is there something?
We'll get to that next week.
Do you know something I don't know? Is it happening now? Is that what's going on? I'm actually having a post-midlife crisis right now. I was turning 40. In order to avoid a midlife crisis, I decided to do something, and it turned out that what I did was a classic midlife crisis. I recorded an entire album in my car.
Famously normal thing to do. Yep.
Yeah. I was in a recording studio. I was producing something. I can't remember what record it was, and we were trying to get it was an expensive recording studio too, and we were trying to get a good sound on some conga drums. And for some reason, we couldn't. So we put some baffles around the congas and tried that. Still didn't sound good. Then we like got a blanket and kind of built a tent to try to get a good sound, and it wasn't working. And I don't know why, but it just was not working. And I made a joke. I said I could get a better conga sound in my car outside. Let's try that. And everybody laughed, And then I started thinking about it. I wonder if I could make a record in my car. I have a 1965 Rambler. Actually, I had two Ramblers at that point. A 1964, which was in great shape and was the one I was driving. And then I had
your daily driver
Rambler. And then I had a 1965 that I somehow tricked the insurance company into giving me antique insurance for.
And, it's a relic.
Yeah, and it was really beat up. I think, and I remember what I did, actually. In order to get that insurance, I parked my car in the driveway, and I hosed it down so it was wet and it looked shiny, and I took a picture.
You're like, this is carefully preserved. I take care of this car.
It looked very shiny when in fact it was just wet, And so I had two cars, and I started thinking, well, if I'm going to do this, well, actually I mentioned it to a friend, and he said, prove it. And so now I had a dare, right? Somebody dared me. Make a record.
An open challenge, yeah.
Yeah, I'll prove it. Okay. Step aside, everybody, and watch. And with total confidence, I decided, well, I need to figure out which car is the right one. So I moved my entire recording studio. I had a recording studio at that time. It was an 8-track recording studio that I had with Palmar Del Ran. We pooled our resources together and built a recording studio. And I moved it out of the basement and into the driveway into my 1964 Rambler, and I recorded the song in there, and then I moved it into the 65 and recorded the song in there. And the 65 immediately, it was obvious that it was better.
What made it obvious?
The floorboards were rusting out, so when you stomped your foot, there was a really good John Lee Hooker sound, The other one was too nice, So every day I would move the recording studio out and put it in my car and run this big, long orange extension cord into the basement and plug it in, and I would record. And I had a snare drum out there and a little cymbal. For a kick drum, I used my foot on the floor and held a mic, right next to it. And I had a Casio drum machine, some keyboards, a bass, and I played electric guitar on it. And in order to do that, I had to figure out a way to separate my Fender Deluxe Reverb amp from my vocal, because I really like to play and sing at the same time. I play guitar better while I'm singing, which maybe that's unusual. I don't know. Probably a lot of people could tell you they're the same way, but my guitar playing is better while I'm singing. It's better for me to be distracted on guitar than to be focused. I don't know why.
You just think about it less, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a physical thing, It feels like you're walking down the street if you're playing guitar while you're singing. It's not as focused, For rock and roll, it's really good not to be too focused and not to think. That's the secret to good rock and roll, is stop thinking immediately. Do not think. It's going to ruin everything. So I had to figure out how to get good separation. So I put the Fender Deluxe amp in the trunk of the car, mic'd it, and then I ran the mic cord. I unscrewed the reflector light, the tail light, and I ran the mic cord out of that, closed the trunk, and then ran it into the car, into the mixing board. I had the mixing board and the reel-to-reel deck in the front seat, and I would sit in the back seat with a guitar or a bass or a keyboard. I would perform and reach over to the front seat to push record and to engineer,
And then you have the isolation booth in the trunk.
Yeah, and it worked. It was amazing. When I soloed up my vocal, I heard no guitar, and when I soloed up the guitar, I heard no vocal. So it was like a
perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
It's like the Rambler was made for that.
Yeah. And I remember reaching over was a little difficult to engineer, so I had this quart of oil that I stuck under the mixing board so I could, slant it, at an angle.
Sure.
And the first thing I figured out is that I had to be done by 3:30 because the high school kids would start coming home. And in New Jersey, wise-ass high school kids, you want to avoid them. I was once a wise-ass New Jersey high school kid.
And they're not afraid to bully an adult who's sitting in the back seat of his car playing guitar.
Not only that, but they want to be part of it. They're like, hey, mister, are you shooting a video? Can we be in it too? Hey, I'm a rock star too. That whole thing.
Yeah.
And so I had I had a window where I could record. And it came out really great. There was one song with sitar on it. My roommate at the time was Mike Vogelman, and he owned a sitar, and he also had a huge gong in his bedroom, which we did not use on the album. we couldn't fit it.
It didn't fit in the car.
Well, the sitar actually didn't either. We had to roll down the window, and the neck of the sitar was sticking out while he was playing.
Can I ask why he owned a sitar?
Oh, because he played it. He was
really?
Oh yeah. He is a master musician, many instruments from all over the world. He had his bedroom was filled with. It was like a menagerie of instruments from all over the world.
That's great,
including a theremin, which is not even from the world. That's from another planet.
Yeah, that's from outer space.
Yeah. So he's the only other person on the record besides me, and so I recorded every day. It was pretty claustrophobic in there because I had to roll up the windows when I was singing. And at one point, I realized there was a bee in the car, and I had to get out really fast. And I failed to unplug my headphones or the bass that I was playing at the time. So I kicked the door open and I jumped out. And because I was still plugged in, I dragged all the equipment out with me.
Whoops.
Yeah. But I recorded the whole thing in about a week, I think. All the instruments, and then I moved the equipment back into the basement and mixed it, and it came out on Rhino Records. And
wow,
they really put me on a great promo campaign. They got the cover story for EQ magazine.
Ooh, EQ Mag. All right.
Yeah, that was a very big magazine for industry insiders, for recording engineers, and kind of the competition to Mix magazine. And I'm on the cover, and it was a very large article, a lot of stuff about the Rambler album. And the next month, a lot of angry letters came in from professional people saying, how dare you put an amateur on the cover? This guy has an 8-track reel-to-reel where only 7 tracks work because one's broken. And we're busting.
He's ruining our industry.
Yeah, we're busting our asses over here. And Mark Lynette, a recording engineer that we've mentioned a few times here on the podcast, very well respected, kind of a superstar, actually, in the world of studio engineering. He wrote a rebuttal, and he said, I've worked with Mr. Vaughn, and he is a total professional, except for this one album. But, yeah, Rhino also put me on a really cool radio campaign where in every city, every AM station, in every city, and small town in America has a Saturday morning car show where they have guys talking about cars and people calling in.
Right, like car talk sort of thing.
Yeah. But there's a local version of that everywhere, I found out. And they put me on that circuit. So by the time the record came out, I'm living in California. I recorded it in New Jersey, and I moved out to California, and then the record came out.
I assume it's because your neighbors made you leave after that behavior.
That's the reason I had to leave New Jersey.
Yeah.
I'm only half kidding when I say that. So I became legendary in the neighborhood. Yeah, I was the eccentric for sure after that. So I'm living in California, and I had to set the alarm for like 4:30 in the morning to do a car show in Rochester, New York, 7:30 their time,
Sure.
So I had this really weird schedule for a couple months where every Saturday morning I was doing another very weird car show. And the one thing that we were going to do, it never happened, unfortunately. We were talking about doing a tour of Jiffy Lubes, like get a Jiffy Lube endorsement, and I would go on tour.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, the Rambler, and I would pull up to a Jiffy Lube and stand on the roof of the Rambler and do a concert, get all the fluids topped, and then move on to the next town. I really wish that had happened. That would have been really cool. But I love Ramblers. The first car I ever owned was a Rambler. I bought it for $200, and it lasted like 3 years. And I had a friend who really liked working on Ramblers, this guy Bob, who was a tax rebel, like a real tax rebel, hiding from the IRS. So sometimes he would show up with a fake beard.
What do you mean? Like hiding from the IRS with a beard? Like the IRS is going to track him down when he's under your Rambler?
That's what he thought, yeah. And he had a wallet filled with fake IDs with various disguises and names. And so when he came over, he would tell me what name I had to call him by that day.
Perfect. Was he ever caught? Do you know?
No, he's still on the run. I'm in touch with him. I can't tell you where he is.
And his real name's not Bob.
I'm not saying.
You didn't hear it from us.
I don't know what his real name is. I don't know. But he wants me to call him Bob. That's all I know. And but he's a great mechanic, a really great mechanic. And he would work on my car. And he taught me actually how to fix my own car because he said, you might be running from the authorities one day yourself. So I'm going to teach you how to fix your Rambler. So I was able to work on my car to the point of getting myself out of trouble when I broke down, thanks to Bob.
Allegedly, Bob, the sovereign citizen. That's really something.
Yeah. I once had a Rambler that did not go in reverse for an entire year, which was not a problem.
That's a lifestyle choice, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't that much of a problem. Parallel parking is a problem. But I was able to do it, and my son was with me once, and we made a wrong turn in the middle of winter on an icy road, and we went down a hill and realized that we were at a dead end. And that's when I realized...
Did you just leave the car there? You just walked away?
Yeah, we actually did. We went to a phone booth. Eventually got the car back. But it was more expensive to fix the transmission than it would have been to buy another Rambler. So I bought another Rambler, and I kept the old one for parts. I was that guy in the neighborhood who had more than one parts car in the backyard.
Yeah, that's a popular neighbor.
Yeah. But at one time with that car, it didn't go in reverse, and I had to go. In New Jersey, you have to go in person every year for inspection. And the people who work
that must have been challenging for you in the Rambler.
Oh yeah, it was. There were many, many things that could go wrong. And the year that I went with a car that wouldn't go in reverse, I figured, well, how are they going to know? How are they going to know? That's a
personal problem.
Yeah. So, the DMV people, notoriously unfriendly in Jersey. And so the guy comes out of the booth, and you're in line behind a bunch of other cars, and and mine would stall out while waiting. It was like, and it's usually belching black smoke. And so I'm in line waiting, and then it's my turn. So the guy starts signaling me with his hands, forward, 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 and then he realizes I went too far, and he goes, "Okay, back up." And I was like, "Oh."
Not an option.
I can't do that. And he comes over to the window and he goes, "Please tell me you're kidding." I was like, "No." And he goes, "Okay, push this thing out of here." So I got another Rambler right after that. But great cars. I love those cars. I had an 8-track deck in my car, and somehow I ended up with an 8-track tape of Sir Lord Baltimore, which was a hard rock.
That's one of your favorites.
Yeah, a hard rock band from like 1970. They go down in history as the first group to ever be described as heavy metal.
There you go.
A review by somebody in Cream magazine, maybe, or Rolling Stone, called their music heavy metal. The first time that was ever used as a description for hard rock.
Indisputable.
And
Sir Lord Baltimore.
Yeah, and it sounded great on 8-track in my car.
In a Rambler that couldn't reverse.
Yes. Rambler 65. We're almost at the 30th anniversary of that record coming out. Maybe that Jiffy Lube tour is in my future.
Yeah, you still could do it.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure you still play some of those songs. There's some great songs on that album.
Oh, yeah. 2 of them I co-wrote with Bill Lloyd, who in Nashville.
I love Bill. That's great.
We were a songwriting team for about a week. But we wrote, I think, 5 songs in that week, and 2 of them I still perform and are great songs. And there's also the sitar solo on a song called Levitation. Yeah, I still perform quite a few of those songs. That project, I get asked about that quite often, and I think my obit is going to say Ben Vaughn recorded entire album in car.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people can say that. Maybe no one else. So I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Rambler 65.
What a record.
Yeah, it was a document of a man and his dream.
Back to the hat here. Ooh, I'm interested in this one. The Cramps.
Oh, man. I was in a band called the Sick Kids. I was a drummer for a punk band in Philly called the Sick Kids, and they were good friends with the Cramps going back to the 70s when the Cramps first came down to Philly. And a lot of punk bands, it was really great because Philly is only 2 hours from New York City. So all of the CBGB's bands and everybody from the Mud Club and Max's Kansas City and everywhere else, they would come down and play in Philly. And they could drive back that night. They didn't even have to really get a room or anything. So we had everybody come down, and the Cramps would come down every few months. And the Sick Kids would always open for them. And one of the members died, and the guitar player died. And they were trying to decide whether the drummer should move over to guitar or stay on drums, and they should audition for another member. And they put up a notice in the only record store in Philly that had punk 45s was a place called 3rd Street Jazz, and they had a bulletin board there, and on there it said wanted someone who could play guitar or drums, depending. Sick Kids, and I saw the Sick Kids once, and they cleared the place. And I was really impressed that everybody left. They're like, this is the worst thing ever. And I was going through a divorce at that time and had a lot of anger, and I thought, this is the perfect place for me. I want to be in something that's really divisive, that really gets a strong reaction. I really want to be involved in something less musical and more energy centered. And I went down to audition, and the minute I played guitar, the singer said, "You're too good. You're too good. You're going to ruin everything. Get on drums." So I became the drummer because I knew how to play. And I was I'm still to this day very primitive, simplistic drummer. So we played with the Cramps a lot, and I got to know Lux and Ivy, and spent a lot of time hanging out with them. And there was one really, really funny moment where we played a club, and Lux Interior, one of the best frontman ever, he stuck the microphone down his pants and was, doing his whole thing. And after the show, the sound man, this guy, with a beard and a ponytail, who did not like the show, came up and said, "I can't believe you did that. That's so disrespectful. I have Melissa Manchester coming in here tomorrow night, and she has to use that same microphone." And Lux said, "Well, if I'd known that, I would have stuck it up my ass."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Didn't one of them actually have a cat named Domino too?
I think so, yeah.
After the Roy Orbison song?
I think so, yeah. They did a great version of Domino. The Cramps were so good live. They were so good live. I never felt like they got captured on record as great as they were. Like, they were better than the records. And they always did Surfin' Bird as their encore. Every time. And it was always amazing. I never got tired of them doing Surfin' Bird. It was always different, and it went on for like a half hour. It was incredible. Incredible. But I actually was on a record produced by Lux and Ivy.
Really?
Yeah. I was in the Sick Kids, the band I mentioned, which, by the way, we were notorious. One of my favorite moments in the history of the Sick Kids was when a club owner paid us to not play a second set. I'm really proud of that.
Hush money. Yeah.
Yeah. But the Sick Kids recorded some stuff in Philly, and then Lux and Ivy mixed it in Hollywood. And I think they took acid before they mixed that record because it didn't resemble the record we made at all. It really sounds weird.
It got lysergic over there.
It's still ahead of my time. It's over my head what happened there. But yeah, so I'm actually on a record produced by Lux and Ivy. They didn't produce many outside artists, so it's kind of a thing, you know. But the cool
Do
thing...
you remember the name of the record?
I Could Go to Hell for You by the Sick Kids.
Okay.
I think it was on Ace Records in England, or one of those kind of labels.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about the Cramps is they, you know, super hip. You would think, you know, super, super hip, and, you know, but they watched a lot of TV. And when Third Rock from the Sun went on the air, Lux pulled me aside and said, "Man, you made it. That is the greatest thing, to have a TV theme on a sitcom, man." You know, and from that enthusiasm, I kept pitching the Cramps for a TV theme. Like maybe I could write something and they would perform it and get the Cramps on TV. I got Alex Chilton. I was able to influence the culture or poison the culture, whatever you want to call it, by getting a Big Star song as the theme for that '70s show. And I really wanted the Cramps to have one. You know,
that would have been awesome.
But I got no takers, unfortunately. But then. Lux died, I guess it was probably 2009, 2010, around there. And I had an idea. I'm friends with this guy, Gary Calamar, who is a pretty well-known music supervisor. And he was working on that show, True Blood.
Oh, yeah.
And the big thing there was to combine two artists to do a theme. And I think they had Nico Case and Nick Cave do something together. So I got the idea that Iggy and Ivy should record together and do a theme. And Gary Calamar was all for it. And so I got a hold of Iggy's people, and Iggy was into it. He goes, "Oh, yeah, I love her. That'll be great." Ivy wouldn't do it. She retired. The minute Lux left this incarnation, she put her guitar in the case and never pulled it out again. She is...
oh, wow.
And I called, and she never returned my call, and I was told by people closer to her that she wasn't going to do anything musical ever again. It was over. So she's like...
You have to respect that.
She's like the Howard Hughes of rock and roll, you know, the Greta Garbo.
Has retreated, yeah.
Yeah, more like Greta Garbo, I hope.
Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah, you don't want Howard Hughes.
No.
Let's go with Garbo. But, you know, she is so underrated as a guitar player. I mean, listen to what she did on guitar. I think she's kind of single-handedly responsible for bringing those kind of retro riffs with the tremolo and the reverb, you know, just, you know, really clean sound that everybody uses now, but they didn't before Ivy. And I think that history needs to wake up and realize that...
Recognize her, yeah, absolutely.
Ivy Rorschach, great guitar player, influential guitar player.
Well, it's that time again. Time for a song.
All right, I'm ready.
Let's see what jumps out of the song hat today. Oh, this is a fun one. Pièce de résistance.
Pièce de résistance. Oh, man, that began as a list. I started keeping a list of French phrases that we use in America a lot, and then at one point decided to set it to music, and it came out sounding a little something like this. I'm going to start with a kind of a fanfare, a fancy intro here. Laissez-faire, en voyage, noblesse oblige, cul-de-sac, déjà vu, savoir-faire, nonchalant, coup d'état, pièce de résistance, enfant terrible, ménage à trois. Sabotage, bon vivant, nouveau riche, je ne sais quoi. S'il vous plaît, c'est la vie, femme fatale, répertoire, pièce de résistance, excuse-moi, concierge. By the way, this song is not popular in France. I played it there once and it completely bombed. Third verse. Provocateur, entrez-vous, boudoir, bon appétit. Carte blanche, mon plaisir, derrière, joie de vivre, pièce de résistance, rendez-vous, au contraire. Here comes the romantic verse. Blasé, maitre d', apéritif, réservoir, chauffeur, ambiance, ennui, nom de plume, pièce de résistance, cliché, débutante, pièce de résistance, bourgeois, reportage, pièce de résistance, faux pas, au revoir, au revoir, au revoir. Merci.
You have just enjoyed another installment of Straight from the Hat with Ben Vaughn. To learn more about the names drawn from the hat for this episode, please visit straightfromthehat.com. Don't forget to tell a friend about this podcast. And please, subscribe to the show on your podcast platform of choice.